Tyron Woodley, Jake Paul. You know, I
Yeah.
was looking at the news bulletin just coming in over Google from Sky News, BBC Sports, RT Sports, and other outlets, and I was like, my God, again?
He done it
What the hell's
again?
going on? I say again because okay, Ben Askren, but I was kind of still leaning on the side that the other person, Ben Askren, has the combat sports background, even though his striking is not that great. You know, I was saying to one of my other friends at the time, I was praying for a miracle to happen in that boxing ring. It didn't happen. With Tyron Woodley, I thought Tyron Woodley seemed like a much safer bet. He's good with his hand. He's known for his knockout power. Still didn't work.
Yeah, true. But if you look at his last, like everyone keeps bringing it up, he hasn't won his last four fights. Last four fights. I think, like even since the Wonder Boy fight, the first one. Did you see the first one?
No, I did not. Embarrassingly, I did not.
No, but that was really good, really back and forth. And then the second one was boring as shit. Everyone said it was, loads of people, probably if you like were really, really an expert in martial arts and all the different things, like Joe Rogan said it was very technical, but it was just two lads scared to do anything for 25 minutes, basically. Since that fight, because I think Thompson nearly finished him, he's been very gun shy. He doesn't throw his hands as much. And you've seen that in his last couple of fights, except for the last one, Luke. But when he done that, he ended up getting finished early. So maybe he was thinking, I won't do that again and risk losing early and try and stay in. But it was like, it felt like he was going to go and then he wouldn't go. And it was so frustrating watching it, especially when he hit him and got him against the ropes. You thought, right, now this is it, jump on him. But he didn't.
Okay, I didn't see that fight, but the one thing I know, and this may sound a bit random, me saying it, from what I've seen of Steven Thompson, his last few fights, Wonder Boy can move really well. He can dodge your shots and any attacks you're throwing at him. He can move really well.
Yeah, it's because he's an excellent counter puncher and counter kicker, especially. He hasn't had, like, his last fight, he lost to Gilbert Burns. It was a decision. It was a decision. Yeah, it was a decision. It wasn't very entertaining because to shut him down, you just take him. You can take him to the ground, and that's that. Like, because he's so different in the way he strikes. He doesn't strike like anyone else. Because not many people come in with karate. There was Machida years ago, but not anyone really comes in with karate because it's more of a point fighting sport. But his counters are excellent. And go back and watch that fight past the first one. It's an absolutely amazing fight. But since then he's been gun shy, so it was kind of what people thought was going to happen. But if he let his hands go, he proved he had the power. If he let his hands go, that's what was really frustrating.
I'm sorry, man. I'm listening to all the news, people's opinions. Man, it's only a game. I understand that. It's only, no one's died or anything. But I said it to you, was in the last episode. If he wins this fight, if he was to beat Conor McGregor, if they were to allow that fight to happen, I'll hold my hands up and I'll say begrudgingly, even begrudgingly, you're gonna have to start putting some respects on Jake Paul's name, and to some degree Logan Paul's name as well, because I just can't stomach how two people, especially one of them, that's just come out off the back of making videos where they're just doing stupid stuff, pranks and whatever. They've entered into the field of combat sports, of boxing, a really well-respected sport. You know, it does feel like they're making a mockery of the whole thing. Personally, that's where I feel when I just see him talk about the sport and participating in the sport.
Yeah, I do see because we actually have a conversation the other night, and I was asking. Then when I was kind of watching the whole face-off with him and Tyron, sitting at the table with Ariel, and some of the stuff he was saying was just kind of, it was kind of childish. It was going on about Tyron's cheeks and how thick he looks, and it was weird. It was weird. That kind of turned me off a little bit, because he wasn't really like, you see him coming up, he's training or whatever, and then when he gets to those face to face, I know he can get, he's a troll, but like it's a bit weird. And you could, but to be fair, when it ended, he was quite respectful. It was actually Logan who annoyed me more at the end, when Tyron said about the rematch, and see how Logan started going, "You're old news, you're old news," and just his demeanor towards Tyron is what annoyed me more.
I think, is that rematch going to happen?
I don't know. He said if he gets the tattoo, Tyron actually tweeted out, I seen it earlier, to their tattoo artist that was supposed to be there, "Where are you to get this done?" They said if he gets the tattoo, he'll do it. But I reckon they won't give him the rematch, because if you remember initially before the fight, they agreed whoever lost will get the tattoo. So why would Jake give him a rematch when this bet was made on something that's happened? Like, why would he now say, "I'm going to give you a rematch if you get the tattoo," when the bet was made prior? I'd let him get the tattoo, and I wouldn't give him the rematch. And it seemed very desperate. Like, he seemed very desperate at the end, didn't he?
That tattoo?
Yeah, the way Tyron was going on about the rematch, and like, I even heard his trainer talk in the corner to him, and he said, like, in the last round, he even said, like, let it loose, let it go. You don't want to go back there thinking I could have done more. Just do it. And then I think that's at the end, he realized that was his chance gone, and they could do the rematch. But Jake Paul, when I was listening to him, I think I sent you the clip when he was talking. He's saying, "No, I haven't got a haircut for 2 years, or I haven't been to the dentist. My nose is all crooked, my teeth are all crooked. I think I might just want to chill." It kind of sounds like he wants to exit now. Maybe when he got hit with that punch, maybe he thought, "Oh, fuck, Joe, these people do punch hard." But then he said in the press conference that they're going to stay on track. So we'll see. I don't know if he'll get the rematch, but if it was the second highest selling pay-per-view of the year, I could see them doing it again. But then again, who brought that? Was it Jake or Woodley? I think it was his
Jake.
fan, and then it was the MMA fans who, like yourself and myself a couple of weeks ago, thought he was going to win. I'd say it's the MMA fans that hate Jake Paul.
No, well, it was Jake Paul who demanded that a rematch clause be included in the contracts for the fight. And yeah, I think he did that. I thought he did off the back of, he suspects that he's now dealing with someone who's good with their hands. This is all before what happened on Sunday, even before the boxing match. And he probably thought, no, I need some insurance here that this doesn't go my way. I get a second chance to prove myself again, you know. So the way things are, you know, especially after how he was hit and he just fell back against the boxing ring ropes there. I saw the expression on his face. I think that actually took him by surprise. Wow, this is there are times that you're going to be hit hard and you're not going to see that coming. You're not going to see that a train wreck coming to just mow you down. I will there be a rematch? I think it really depends on Jake Paul. It really does, because the way I see, he's a person who holds all the cards. But I mean, where he's concerned, Jake Paul, I wouldn't really take anything he says too seriously. I mean, the rematch before, and there's a rematch still going ahead after he won. Does he really want to go back to that place whereby he's fought Tyron Woodley, and then you see what happened halfway through that match, up until he lost? Does he really want to run that risk of actually losing? Because if Tyron fought that way he did, and he's going to go back and train, he's going to train even harder to make sure when he comes back to train to fight again, he's going to make sure that he wins.
Yeah, well, he can't make sure you win, but you can train, and you can get rid of, you can look at what you've done wrong. And what I noticed, well, I kind of got from the commentary as well, so I'm not going to say I know. he didn't jab that much, but when he did jab, that's when he was able to get these punches off, and he didn't use it enough to get in. You know, boxers have to use it because he's smaller. He needed to use the jab just to kind of to get in there. You know, you can't just go in throwing wild ones without working your way in, and he just didn't seem to show it a lot. I think if he did get a rematch, he would try and right the wrongs. And I don't think like I said, I don't think Jake Paul. I think when he got hit with that shot, I think he knew then the power. It was like, you know, when that meme was it was at this moment he knew he fucked up. That's what it looked like on his face.
Already, someone turned that whole clip into a meme. I saw on Instagram, someone just took that, just a snapshot when he's leaning, get back against the edge of the boxing ring, and then they just use that. They put like a caption above this is at this point. Yeah, like you said, at this point he fucks up or something like that.
I was gonna make that, but I should. No point now. Someone else already made
Hold
it.
on, you know how to make the memes?
What?
You know how to make memes?
No, but I'll find out. I didn't know how to edit video. I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to make fucking videos 3 days ago either, and it's fairly hard. It was fairly easy, to be honest. But I see. But one of the funny things was, even though Tyron lost, they're saying, like, Jake Paul said he was going to make him a meme, Tyron a meme, but even though he won, he's been made the meme with that picture. I don't know how to feel. I think MMA, they need to stop going across. But really? Against like Jake Paul, they're going to fancy the chances.
That's what I thought, because, okay, kind of moving away from the event, so far, you know, they say that whenever they're introducing the boxers in the ring or the fighters, whenever, whether it's MMA or boxing or judo, wherever it is, they mention their record. The announcer mentions their record. Now, Jake Paul's record, as far as I'm concerned, has been so far a padded record because, and I've said this to you before, I said to many other people before who follow the combat sports in general, I will never consider this guy to be a professional boxer until he actually challenges himself and competes against a professional elite level boxer. Look at what happened backstage with himself and Tommy Fury, and Tyson Fury's younger half brother. Look at what happened. Now, Tommy Fury is an elite level boxer, professional boxer. Could I say he's an elite level boxer? Well, he's a professional boxer. He's a pure professional boxer, isn't he?
Yeah, I wouldn't say elite though. His record. I'd probably hold more credence to Jake's record than I would to his. Some of the people he fought has been like 0-20, 0-40. They haven't won fights. Like, so they're professional boxers, but they haven't won fights. If you actually look through the records of the people he's faced, aren't that good. And I actually didn't see his fight, but I was told it was a shit show. Or what I've seen online, it apparently wasn't good, but he got to win. Would you be happy if you faced Tommy Fury?
Sorry, who? Sorry,
Tommy Fury. If you look at Tommy Fury's record, right, the people he's faced, some of them have had 0 wins, 14 losses, 0 wins, 20 losses. Okay,
so they're not that good anyway.
So, like, Tyron Woodley would be more competitive than any one of the people that he's probably faced. Like, I don't agree. I don't think Jake needs to fight someone elite because he's not elite himself. Like, every boxer has to build up to be elite. But when it's a basketball player, and he didn't even know how to box. Like, it's horrendous. He was the basketball player. It was like a kid in the playground, you know, throwing, like running and swinging. Ben Askren went there just to make money. As they said in the commentary team, he looked like he was built like a bag of milk. His body.
Yeah.
Only off a hip operation. I don't think he trained. I think he just put up a few videos online to make it look like he was training. So Tyron would be the only kind of legit person he has faced, but he's still not a boxer. But he's still kind of legit. He's got the name power. That's the thing. But where does Tyron go from here?
God, and everything what you just said is kind of an echo of what I heard from another video, from another YouTuber. Have you heard of him called Tuesday Fusey, something like
Oh,
that? Yeah, he's a friend of Jake Paul, and the person interviewing him and asking him questions said or asked him, would you like to see your friend Jake Paul fight Tommy Fury? And even he said, yeah, like he said, no, I don't think my friend is there. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Jake Paul fan. I'm a Jake Paul friend. So friend being the side of him that will tell Jake Paul the truth and be honest. He said, no, Tommy Fury, he's still far from Tommy Fury. But my aggro is that this guy carries himself, both him and his brother carry themselves as professional boxers. Look, I just can't see that until I see you be put up against a professional boxer, a proper professional boxer. You know, I just can't stomach that statement.
well, we're gonna have to wait and see. He's got a professional record of 4-0.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, I don't know. I don't know what he's gonna do from here. My worry is for Tyron now. Like, what's he gonna do? Because people are saying it's gonna tarnish his legacy. But what bothers me about this is I actually did like Tyron. He did whinge a bit when he's in the UFC. Some of it I think was validated, some of it wasn't. I don't think he got the push, but maybe that's because he whinged. But he never got much love in the UFC, anyways, for whatever reason. I think it was after the second Wonderboy fight where he was hesitant, and then after that, it was the same. He never really pushed and pushed, and he wasn't exciting anymore. And all his fights were like just two people scared to move, scared to do anything. Because I think he has the record for the least amount of strikes thrown in a title fight against Ike Mma. So Dana White fucking hates him. So I don't know where he goes from here. Like, I don't think boxing. I don't think he'll. Do you think he'll be able to get another boxing fight? I don't know. I think that's why he wants the rematch so bad. Because then if he wins, then he might be able to get into boxing. But I can't see. I suppose they could take him for the name value, but that'd be it. I don't think he'd be taken seriously. He is 40 as well.
Yeah, he is. Yes, it's 1980. Only 40 years old. And it depends. I think it really depends on what Jake Paul wants. Does he want to run that risk again? Because if he goes up against Tyron Woodley, there's still a chance that Woodley could beat him and win. And then they're both now. If he loses that fight, then now he's the one that's going to be screaming and shouting and demanding for a rematch, and they're going to go head to head for a third time.
They all make loads of money.
Yeah. It's like Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor. Whoever wins the next fight, the other person says, "Okay, fine. We want another bout." They keep extending. I saw that meme. Was it UFC
where
300?
they're like granddad. Yeah, yeah. If he did fight him again and he did beat him, and then a trilogy, that'd actually be good for business for him. If Jake won the third one, let's say, just say Tyron won the second one and then Jake won the third one, that'd actually be good for him. I think money wise, and because then if Tyron did beat him, then people would see he is kind of legit. He is, so like, we all know he's good in the UFC, but if just say he knocked Jake Paul out in a second one, then people go, oh well, he is good. And then if Jake Paul then won the third, it'd be good for his brand, I think. But boxers pride themselves on having a 0 loss record. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not too convinced that he's going to keep boxing. I don't think he will after the way he was speaking. But maybe he was just emotional after the fight. Maybe he was still dizzy from getting punched in the fucking head by Tyron Woodley.
No, I can't see either one of them, especially Jake Paul, pursuing this as a career. I mean, again, I've kept and maintained my opinion that both of them, especially Jake Paul, are attention seekers. And once the sport dries up or once becomes too challenging or too embarrassing for them, they're gonna pursue something else. They're gonna look for something else. Maybe all the YouTube videos and the prank videos they were making, and they exploded their channels. Maybe that dried up, and they just couldn't find any new content, anything to give them new content. So they just have to find something else. And by this stage, they've got their name power, brand power. So when they go into something like boxing, which again it's a sports, it's a thing that still gets lots of attention from people, you know, they can still make lots of money. Their name power just only, makes it even more a lot more easier. I keep complicating my words.
Yes, no, I do understand, but I heard someone say this the other day, so I'm not going to take this as my own opinion. I think it was Eric Hawani said, would like Jake Paul came into this as a multi-millionaire already, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So would you not respect him that he'd go in and he'd want to pursue something like this when he has that much money? Like, that's a bit extreme to go to that length for content. Like, if you have millions, you're going to get paid 2 million to get potentially knocked out by someone and embarrassed.
But you
I don't
see,
know.
you say that. I was speaking to someone else about this was like a month ago when we were talking about Jake Paul versus Ben Askren, and just looking at how the fight went. The fight was over before it had even started. It was ridiculous just how the whole fight went with those two guys. And I think it was well known that whatever the loser would be taking home, which was Ben Askren. Ben Askren took home $500,000, which for most people is still a lot of money. And a lot of people, one guy that I was speaking to, who is my not mixed martial arts, but my kickboxing coach, he said that's life-changing money. He would punch his own mother in the face for that amount of money, right? Now I was shocked when I was we were texting on Instagram. I was shocked when I saw that statement coming through as a text message as a reply. But then I thought again, and then I thought, that seems quite extreme. But if you're given that amount of money and you actually said to your mum, "No, I turned it down because of what they said I had to do," she might punch you in the face.
And then you're both broke. And not
I mean, it was extreme, but then, my God, I mean, oh God, this sport can be so ridiculous sometimes. God, it's crazy. Oh God. But no, okay, fine. He's won. Is there going to be a rematch? Who knows? It's going to really, the way I see it, the whole thing really, it's relying on what Jake Paul wants. I think he's holding all the cards. Yeah, from what I can see. So, but I think it was agreed in the contract, wasn't it? So, whatever the outcome, they have to have a rematch, isn't it?
No, I think it might be only on Jake's side because they actually talked about that at that face-to-face. Because Jake says he's no idea how he got that. That got there. His manager must have put it in. And Tyron said, if I knew, he goes, because he said something then about, if my manager said about a rematch clause, I would have said no. I think, don't quote me on this, because I would be so confident in beating you. So I don't think Tyron had one. I think Jake had one if he lost, not if Tyron lost.
Okay. No, I didn't know that. So it's almost like a one-sided thing.
Yeah, Jake claimed he didn't know about it. His manager must have put it in.
Oof, okay. All right.
So Tyron should have gotten Jake's manager and got that. Like, Tyron should have went and looked for a rematch clause as well, because he knew how much money he was going to make, and if he potentially lost, to make sure you can legally get that second fight then, because it's in the contract. And anything in America, contracts are usually watertight. So if he didn't get it, he'd be compensated. So he should have looked for one, but it doesn't. I don't quote me on that now, but I don't think he did. I don't think he did get one. Jake only has one if he loses, or had one if he lost.
There's a lot of rumors and accusations going around about Jake Paul's performance in this fight. Was he taking PEDs? Was he taking steroids? And a statement that that Tyron Woodley made about the drugs test. I think there should have been drugs tests, but there wasn't.
Yeah, he actually said that in the thing before. He said you could be on PEDs, and I think Jake actually said, "Sure, we're getting drug tested, aren't we?" But then it actually came out that only the fights for the championships, I think the only championship belt was Serrano and I can't remember the girl's name, the Mexican girl. I think that was the only title fight. So only title fights were tested for PEDs. So Jake and Tyron weren't.
Okay.
But I think Tyron said he'd beat him on PEDs anyways. Like, don't make that statement and then if you lose, turn around and bitch that he's on PEDs.
Because a lot of people do that when they lose to someone, especially when it's someone who they don't like. I think they'll do anything just probably to, it's like being a sore loser. They just can't let it go. You lost, but you won't let it go. You won't let it go. You won't let it lie. It could be one of those things, but I don't know. Just it kind of, some people were even saying that he was paid to win. The other side was paid to lose. I saw that somewhere on YouTube or Instagram that there's some sort of shady background deals are being made that not some guys, but one of these guys was paid to win, the other person was paid to lose.
I don't buy that. I don't buy it. It's whenever these fights come around though, like Ben Askren, Conor McGregor, like when all these big attractions, circus freak shows come out, this is when you get the it was fixed brigade. Right. I don't think so. I think it was just Tyron the way it's been the past 3 years. And because I think I think Jake gassed in like the third, fourth, and fifth, I think. And I think he could have taken him out if he'd put the pressure on. And then I think he got a second wind later on. But I think it was just he was too timid. He didn't let loose, and that was the problem. That's all there was too. When he got him against the ropes, he let him come back up and they moved around. Like once he comes back up, go again. Like just end it there and then. I think this is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not gonna get hung up on it or anything like that, but for me, this may sound silly, this may sound far-fetched. For me, it was for Jake Paul probably an easy-ish fight because you're dealing with someone who boxing isn't their complete. What's the word he use? Tyron Woodley is a mixed martial arts fighter.
It doesn't get to use a complete arsenal of weapons. No, is that what you're trying to say?
No, it's like when you're talking about someone's craft, what they're good at, what they're known for.
Like a master.
Well, we know that boxing isn't his forte. It isn't his what he does on a regular basis.
Yes, not his primary weapon, so to speak.
Just until because I noticed Jake Paul never calls a proper professional boxer. Maybe not elite level, but he never fights someone who has been a boxer since day one. So far as the people who are boxers, the first, the one, two, or third person he's boxed, they weren't professional boxers. They weren't combat sports athletes to begin with. The other two being Askren and Woodley, they were mixed martial arts fighters. They were not boxers, but he hasn't fought a proper professional boxer. And the closest they've come to doing that was probably when Logan Paul fought Floyd Mayweather, and even then, that was an exhibition fight. There wasn't going to be a winner or a loser.
Yeah, like I said, he gets them for the name value. He gets them for the name value. Ben Askren retired. Tyron Woodley's been released, all on the decline as opposed to going up. He's not fighting anyone that young. He probably won't fight a boxer unless he fights Tommy next. Because I heard Tommy got a good pop out of the crowd. So if you got a good pop out of the crowd, that might make money. But I wouldn't have thought so before this, but maybe it would. He's just gonna go. He's gonna go for whoever he wants. Like, he holds the cards. All the UFC fighters are looking to fight him. Like, they're all
Just for the
calling. Like,
money.
yeah, it's the
For the
money. And then what
money.
does that say about the UFC? If Jake Paul, a YouTuber, can pay fighters more than the organization they're in.
Oh, but at the same time, other, the big names in boxing, the legendary names who, even those who are no longer maybe no longer around, well, they don't count, but those who are retired, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, the retired names, the guys who don't box anymore, I'm sure they will agree with me that something like this degrades that the level,
Mike Tyson
the
likes the
standard.
Paul brothers. He's been on their podcast. They've been on his.
What the hell's going on?
Have you? I'm going to send you clips. He likes them.
No, I remember seeing that somewhere. I was just hoping that maybe I misheard. I misheard or misremembered what they were saying in that episode. But I think, yeah, you're right. He does like them. Why does he like them? Why?
I don't know. Maybe because they must be training hard. They must be doing the right things. They're in Puerto Rico training. They set up a campaign against bullies, boxing for bullies or something. Like, maybe it's because it's bringing attention back to the sport, be it good, be it bad. It's still bringing attention back to the sport.
Oh God, this is a change. I'm just gonna have to suck it up, and just get used to it because
It's
it's here
only
to
going to be
stay.
around for another year. So I say it's only around for another year. So just don't watch it. Don't listen to him. Block him on all your social media. Block anyone that mentions him. I won't talk about him again if you don't want me to. Look, it's not what we can do. He won. He holds all the cards. He's in the power position. It's whatever he wants to do next.
The goofing around, the messy hair, the tattoos everywhere. Oh, got your hat, got your hat.
Yeah,
Which was
that was. Yeah, but
even at that.
he got a punch or two for that as well, and he looked like he was crying, getting dragged into the dressing room.
But he's gonna keep on doing it because he wants to bring more eyes to the sport, bring more attention to the sport. Oh, but you know what? He's won. Let's see what happens in the next one. If the next one's gonna be a lot more interesting, if the next one includes a boxer such as Tommy Fury, that'll be very, very interesting because it'll be a much more closer, much more even matchup. They're close in age, so they'll be how can I say? They'll probably be moving around at the same speed. They're not going to tire out so easily because they're still in that young age bracket.
Yeah, I think they're both 24. I think they're both the exact same age. I think.
No.
Yeah, I think.
Tommy is about 22.
Oh,
And
is he?
yeah, and Paul is about 24, 25, but it's not
Okay.
around the same age.
Yeah, so they're still young, in the early 20s.
Yeah. But let's see what happens in that fight. I mean, I'm sure Paul will have to make sure that he gets another rematch clause in the contract. Like, that's if he wants to go ahead in the first place. But I saw some of the excuses that he had made as to whether he's going to go ahead and fight, take up Tommy Fury on his offer to fight him. And I think he just said something like, having that fight now probably wouldn't make sense. Like his YouTuber friend Tuesday Fusey said, he's not there yet. But let's see what happens.
Yeah, it could be a bad idea, like you were saying that YouTuber said. It could be a step backwards in name value and won't sell as many pay-per-views, but a step up in competition. So why would you take that? Like Chael Sonnen says, fight the worst guy for the most money. That's it.
Worst guy. When you say worst guy, you mean
The least experienced guy. The guy you think he can easily beat for the most money.
Okay.
Whereas if you're talking about him and Tommy Fury has been a boxer, and I don't know what his record is. It's only like 7-0 or something like that. He's been boxing his whole life. Like there's a generation of boxers there. So he might have the gas tank, and to see where Jake gassed out in the 4th and 5th or whatever rounds it was, that he won't gas out, and he will capitalize on the mistakes Jake was doing. Whereas Tyron isn't a boxer, so he wouldn't see these things as clearly as Tommy would. And maybe Tommy's not that good, but Tommy would see certain things that Tyron wouldn't have. So it's very risky for him to fight Tommy. Because I said, I think it's a drop down in name value from Tyron Woodley.
Yeah.
Like outside the UK, who really knows him? Even though he got a pop, I don't know if.
I think he's well known in the US to an extent. I think that the fight he had recently, the most recent fight he had on the same fight card as Woodley and Paul. Excuse me. I think that fight, he said that when he got to the US, when he got to the venue, a lot of guys, it was a debut fight for him, but a lot of guys are clapping, cheering for him. There's a big crowd waiting to meet him and to receive him at the venue. So I think he said he got a really warm welcome. So I think so far at the moment, for starters, they've taken a nice I keep forgetting the words.
Like a shine to him.
Huh?
Like they've taken like a shine to him. They like him.
Yes, that's the word. That's the word. They seem to like him for now. So let's see where that goes. But you know, for the time being, this whole Jake Paul and Logan Paul situation, let's see where it goes. My God, I was just so shocked and depressed when I woke up this morning. Just looked at my phone. So it's a habit I try to break, but a part of me knew that he's going to win this fight. I'll hold my hands up and say, no, part of me knew he was going to take the win away from this fight, and that's it.
You were adamant about Tyron. I've messages. You see, no, you were adamant. You were adamant Tyron was going to win.
Yeah. No, I was.
Oh, I think it was more you were hoping he was going to win. But look, it is what it is. We can't change it now.
I know.
Tyron should have put the foot on the gas and pressed. But it's easy for me to say this. I'm sitting here overweight, unhealthy. So I can't really comment on what fresh walk, but he should have put his foot on the gas, and he should have went after it. Like he had nothing. I suppose he had nothing to lose, but he probably didn't want to risk it and get knocked out and be known as the person who got knocked out by Jake Paul.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So maybe that's why he didn't, but he should have just pushed it. At the end of the day, he should just push it. But fuck it, it's done now.
Yeah, that's what it is. So what else are we going to talk about? Oh yes, Michael Chandler and JUSTINGAETHJE. Though it's not such a hot topic at the moment, is it?
No, because I think it's because it's announced so far in advance. Like you seen with the fight that just went on last night. Like me and you were talking, there was a bit of a lull. There was a bit of excitement when it got announced, and then there was a bit of a lull until about a week and a half before, and then it ramped back up again. But that card is looking amazing. Did you see who's on it? Zhang Weili against Namajunas is booked for that. And there's another really good fight. I don't have a laptop and I don't have my second phone to check, but there's another really good fight on that. I think it's Edgar and Chito Vera. And
take a quick look.
And Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler.
Any card that has Diaz has any one of the Diaz brothers, you know, a lot of people can be watching that card, because as I've been hearing, they are needle movers.
Yeah, they are. I don't know. It might not be that one Nick is on. I think it might be the one before. I think it's UFC 268. But that's what I was saying before. For Madison Square Garden, I say to rent that place costs an absolute fortune. So they need to pack it. They need to make sure that the pay-per-view buys are big and that the place is sold out and they can sell high tickets for a high value.
No, you're right. UFC 268, Saturday, 6th of November 2021. Gaethje versus Chandler. For now, things could change. I mean, things could change. I mean, something that could put a spanner in the works is Chandler has made it clear he doesn't want to take that vaccine. So Dana White and the UFC are really going to have to reconsider whether they're going to host the event. I think New York, you have to take the vaccine or so.
Yeah, for indoor events. I don't think they will move the card. I don't think they'll move. I don't think they move the card. I think they move the fight because it's not the main event, and they've got so many fight. Like, who else is on that card? Is Nick Diaz on that one? I don't think. I don't. I think it might be the one before that, or it might be that one. You've got Namajunas is fighting.
There's Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington for the welterweight title. Yeah, that's quite interesting. Going to be a very interesting fight. There's Chandler versus Gaethje, and so far, I don't think they made up the rest of the card yet.
They've got Rose and Zhang Weili. They've got Chito Vera and Frankie Edgar. So the Nick Diaz might be on the one before that. I can't see them pulling from Madison Square Garden though.
Yeah.
I can't see them, no. I think they'll just put another absolute banger in there. Like that whole card is going to be a top to bottom banger. Like even the prelims are going to have some names on it, I'd say.
Come on.
Because they need to, in Madison Square Garden, it's cost so much to rent, so they're going to need to have a reason to sell tickets for such a big, like for a big fight, for a huge amount, sorry. Because if I remember correctly, UFC 217 had 3 title fights at MSG, and it was the first time 3 title fights ever changed, or 3 titles ever changed hands in one night. Bisping versus George St. Pierre, Cody versus TJ, and I think it was Rose versus JJ, Joanna. So Madison Square Garden is always packed. Like the cards are always good. So I think they won't move the cards. They'll move the fight if he doesn't take it, or they just pay someone off.
No, you're. I'm looking at the names now. There's some big names here on this card. Even on for the other events are not main event or co-main event. There's Frankie Edgar.
Yeah, Chito Vera.
Luke Rockhold makes his return in this card.
Yeah, Sean Strickland.
Yeah, okay, Edgar. Ali Quinta is going to be there as well.
Oh, he's fighting fucking
Bobby Green.
Who is he fighting?
Bobby Green?
Yes, he's fighting. Bobby Green's good as well.
Damn. This is going to be a really, really big night.
Yeah, it's like the main card is usually 5 fights, and there's probably more than 5 fights there already with those big names. Some of them are going on the prelims.
So it makes sense as to why they went to what they once called, and I said it to in one of our past podcasts, the palace of events. I can't, but it was something like that. It's such a special place. You're going to host something that you better make sure that it sells out, so you make your money's worth, and whatever money you spend on hiring the place, you can make the money back. No, but it's a really, really big, really stacked card. No, good. I look forward to it.
I'll stay up for that one. I'll book that off work and I'll stay up for that one. I will.
No, I'll do the same as well.
Like from start to finish, that card is going to be like, even the prelims going to be good.
Absolutely. Oh, looks like it's going to be a fucking awesome card.
Yeah, it will be. I can't wait.
I need to do my homework more before we do these podcasts. I mean, I thought that because the whole weekend and the whole of last week I was just thinking this Woodley and Paul fight, Woodley and Paul fight, Woodley and Paul fight. That's the only thing I could think of because I wanted to see Woodley knock out Jake Paul. Didn't happen. So I was just thinking, no, this fight's gonna be so important. It will override even the UFC event happening the night before. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I left a comment on every Instagram post about the fight. This hype train is soon gonna come to an end.
That
So
was the reactions.
no, some people. There is one guy who is an actor. He follows mixed martial arts. He's friends with Dominic Cruz, and I think he starred in a particular US sitcom with Meghan Markle, many a few years ago back in the early 2010s, and he even said himself that he doesn't like Jake Paul, but he can't see Tyron Woodley winning this fight. He can't. It looks very likely that Paul's going to win the fight, and he was commenting on virtually all posts I was making about the fight. Yeah, this is going to happen, and even on the results day, when I posted about the fight again, he said, "Yeah, it's exactly as I predicted."
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna stop bitching about that. No, it sounds pathetic. It's what it is.
Right, move on to MMA. Circus show is gone now.
Yeah, yes, I absolutely agree. So, was it UFC Vegas 35 or 34?
35, I think.
So I saw the main event. It was good. I thought that Barboza would win. Looking at his last fight, I thought he would win, but it was a Georgian who, well, looking at, and is it this fight that they both fought they both fought in their last fight, they fought the same person, Robert Whittaker?
No.
It wasn't. Okay, that's probably the event before. But I thought Barboza would win because he seems to be, his stand-up, it seems really, really good. I can't pronounce the other guy's name properly. Is it Giga?
Yeah, Giga. I can't pronounce the second name.
There's a Georgian name. I thought if he wins, probably it's just by luck because his last fight, I think the way it seems, just to, he seemed a bit lucky with that knockout, with the TKO, if I can say that.
I don't think so. I think he was on the rise anyways. Like, everyone's been talking about him the past year. I think, was he the guy that they kicked out of UFC briefly as well? There was something got to do with a bag being brought from somewhere.
Was that earlier this year?
Yeah. Was that him?
No, that was a Middle Eastern, a Moroccan or a North African mixed martial artist. I think they had let someone come in and into what at the time what they call a COVID bubble or something like that.
Oh yeah, because you had to stay in your own bubbles, yeah.
And Dana White just said, "Okay, that's it. That was really the dumbest thing you can do because it could affect the whole UFC team here and the whole staff that work at the venue. We can't have that." So he actually just sacked him. Then I think about a week later, he said, "I can give you a second chance," and took him back.
His manager was Ali. That's why I'd say Ali Al-Diz or whatever his name is. I can't pronounce that name. No, but anyways, no, everyone's been talking about him. He's looked good. I was hoping Barboza was going to win because I like him. He's kind of been around a long time. He's got some of the best knockouts ever in the UFC. His wheel kick of Terry Etim, I think, was the first wheel kick knockout. Like, his fight against Dan Hooker, like, he just butchered his body to Dan Hooker, and Dan Hooker is tough. Dan Hooker should have been gone minutes before he did, but he just kept coming forward till he actually just collapsed on the floor. Like, he's got excellent knockouts, and he's a fan favorite. So I think everyone wanted them to win, but unfortunately, sometimes like that, the trajectory for some person is just going up, his is going down. But I thought his was going back up again since he went down. I think he'd won three in a row after moving down to featherweight. But unfortunately, he lost. Unfortunately, I was looking forward to that, and I thought he was going to win. But
sorry, man. I only really just called to the main event. UFC Vegas 35. Did you see the co-main event?
no, I didn't.
Oh, so I'm not the only one. Was it just the main event that you saw?
Yeah, because I was working and all over the weekend, so I couldn't stay up for the two of them. I was off today, and I was working Sunday, so I couldn't stay up Saturday and then go to work Sunday. So I just caught the main event.
All right.
But the Chandler, we didn't actually finish talking about Gaethje and Chandler. We kind of just went off on the tangent. But who'd you favor to win that fight?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I said straight away, Michael Chandler, because as nice as a person he is, as well put together, as much of he's a really good he's a real gentleman. In my opinion, he's speaks well, is articulate, and carries himself with some class. But when he's fighting, and this is a comment someone made on one of my older podcasts, and they said in the cage he's an animal. On his stand-up's really good. He can, his punching, his shots are ferocious on the ground. If he gets, like a, what's the word I can use? Like in a triangle or guillotine, you're in trouble because his ground game's really good. So he's a well-rounded mixed martial arts fighter. But Justin Gaethje has been known to have some good knockout power as well. So I would have said Michael Chandler, but I think for this one, I'm gonna be like kind of on the fence. I just have to. But if I really had to put my money on it, if I was really forced to make a bet, make a decision, I would go with Michael Chandler.
I go opposite. And the
Okay.
reason being, oh, sorry, go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
Well, okay. I still feel really nervous on making these predictions because I'm concerned about people calling me an idiot that I don't know what I'm talking about. But Michael Chandler, because of he's an animal in the cage. His punching, his stand-up is ferocious, dangerous. His ground game's also really good as well. Justin Gaethje, good, but not doesn't have that sort of firepower that Michael Chandler has. Though Justin Gaethje is known to be really, really good with his hands. But why did you go the opposite way?
He's a wrestling champion though as well. He just doesn't use it. Gaethje.
Really?
Yeah, he doesn't use it. He doesn't like using it. And out of his 24 fights, I think 21, he's got 23 wins and 21 of them are knockouts. I think he's gone to decision. I think 2014 was the last time he's gone to decision. Don't quote me on that, but I think that might have been, the last time he's gone to decision. His 3 losses are Dustin, Khabib, and Eddie Alvarez. Like,
Really?
They're his 3. That's Justin Gaethje's only 3 losses.
Let me check that.
I think he's like 24-3 or something, or 21 something and 3.
Yeah, you're right. Not that I doubted you, but God, just 3 reds here. Everything else is green.
Yeah, it wasn't until he faced Eddie out. I think he lost to Eddie first, didn't he? And then he lost to Dustin and then Khabib. because after Dustin, I think he bet James Vick. Would I be right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. God, you done your homework. I need to do that for doing this podcast. Yeah.
It's not. Well, it's because I would have been watching at the time as well. So, and because he's such an exciting fighter, they call him the highlight, Justin the highlight Gaethje. So, that's why I know, because I would have been watching at the time, and I quite liked him because he's quite exciting. But he's evolved since he lost to Dustin. He's more measured. He's more calm now. He's not swinging wildly going in. He's picking his shots. He's still hitting you hard, but he's picking them, and he's not rushing you. He's waiting. Like he's beating Cowboy. Then after, I think he absolutely schooled. Did you see what he done to Tony? He absolutely schooled Tony Ferguson. Like, I don't know how Tony Ferguson stayed standing during that fight, but that's why I go for him, because he's got the wrestling background as well, but he doesn't use it. He just doesn't use it. He says he doesn't want to use it. He says it's boring. So he wants to go out and put. It's boring. He wants. Sorry?
No, he said he says it's boring.
Yeah, he wants to go out and put on a show. Stand and bang. But his wrestling didn't do much good against Khabib. Khabib took him down fairly easy, and
yeah.
But then Khabib's another animal. like welterweights and middleweights say that Khabib takes him down at will. Light heavyweights say Khabib can take him down, that he just feels stronger than he should be for his size. So, like I said, they're his only 3 losses. So you've got Eddie, Justin, and Khabib. Justin, who should, in my opinion, be the lightweight champion. Only he took the money fight. Khabib, who was undefeated, and then Alvarez, who as well was elite at one stage as well, and who as Michael Chandler has faced as well and lost to and beaten. I think they're 1-1. Or no, I think Michael Chandler might be 2-1 with Eddie.
Wow. Okay, now I understand the reason why you would side with Justin Gaethje. I'm just looking at both the results, both their MMA records. Yeah, Gaethje has a far more impressive record than Chandler does. My God. Chandler has 6 losses, 22 wins. Gaethje has, just 3 losses, 22 wins.
Yeah, and look who the 3 of them were. But then again, Chandler's aren't bad competition either. You've got one of the Pitbull brothers, Eddie Alvarez. Some guy beat him twice, and he kept asking Dana White to bring him to the UFC to beat him again. I can't remember his name. He bet him earlier on. He bet him twice. But it's a saying that, it could, what's the saying? Everyone has a puncher's chance. He could catch him. For me, I thought he was very close to winning the lightweight title against Charles Oliveira. I thought the fight was actually going to be stopped. I just think since Gaethje's last loss, he's matured. He doesn't go in for the kill as quickly as he would, because when he was doing that with Alvarez and with Dustin Poirier, they punished him. Whereas before, he, in a World Series of fighting, he might not have been fighting. I'm not saying the bad fighters, but the competition of the level that's in the UFC of Alvarez and thing. So since then, he's matured. He doesn't rush in. He's more measured, and he picks his shots, and they're still heavy. I see that being a first round finish. Either way, I'm going to predict Justin, but I think it could go. It could easily go either way.
Yeah, no, I can see when you say first round finish. Yeah, I can see exactly what you mean, because Gaethje has looking at his record, a lot more wins than losses, and losses were against top people in the sport. But at the same time, he said he's far more calculated and far more strategic with how he on the offense. But Chandler still is known for that fight, that knockout, just the counter punch, counter striking power in the cage.
Yes, it could go either way. That's what I'm saying. It could.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say Gaethje. What's interesting about it is though, they're both champions from outside of the organization between Bellator and World Series of Fighting. When Justin Gaethje came in, I didn't think there was as much pushback against him as there seemed. Like with Chandler, it seems to be some weird thing that the UFC fans don't really like him.
Chandler.
Yeah.
But okay, hold on. At the beginning, when he came in, I think even this was confirmed. His words, but he quotes what Dana White said to him that, well, you come into an organization, blah, 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 this and that, done what you're doing, but the fans seem to like it. Now, is it probably because have things now changed? Because I'm talking about time, this was back in January, February, whereby he came to the organization and then he beat Dan Hooker back at UFC 257. That was a good start for his career in the UFC. But I think his next fight against who was it?
Sharon Salvera.
Yeah, he lost
For the title, yeah. I don't know. See, I'm a lot on Twitter, and on Twitter, Twitter's a fucking toxic place as it is.
It's a sewer.
It is. It's hot. Like you find the worst of the worst down there. But there seems to be a lot of hate for Chandler, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because sometimes he comes across kind of arrogant.
Really?
With that thing with him and Justin Gaethje back and forth, there was something he said, and I was just like, oh, he sounds like a bit of a smug prick. But I like him. He comes across, like I said, usually most of the times, all the time, bar that, he comes across quite well. He's well spoken. Like I said, you would never guess he was a fighter.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Carries himself well, plenty a lot of class, comes from a good background. I mean, his wife's a doctor.
Yeah. So I don't know. There seems to be a lot of hate for him. It's interesting as well because two of them were champions outside, and then if one of them ends up getting the lightweight belt, because I would say whoever wins this will go on to face whoever the champion. I think this is a title eliminator. So I think whoever wins this will go on to fight for the title. Then again, whoever may have it at the time, whether Justin or Dustin fights Charles and wins, or does Charles keep it? If Charles keeps it, do they do with Charles Chandler too? If he wins, I don't know. It's going to be a good fight for as long as it lasts, but I can't see it going past a round. I can definitely not see it going to a decision. In saying that now, it'll probably go to a decision, but I can't see it. Like I said, I think Justin Gaethje, his last decision was 2014, so we'll have to wait and see. But I think it's going to be an early finish for whoever. Like I said, I'm the only. Like I say, I'm more kind of, if you had to put a bet on it, who would I put it on? I put it on Gaethje. But that could easily change. Matt Sarah bet GSP.
After you telling me what you just told me and me looking up some facts on the internet, I think I would change my mind and go in the direction of Justin Gaethje also.
But it could be Gaethje could catch him as well. It's as easy as that. Yeah. Like I like Justin Gaethje. I think he's good. Like he's always exciting. Like kind of Justin Gaethje fight. You're like, right, it's not going to last long, but it's going to be good. It's going to be like his first fight in the UFC with Michael Johnson was an absolute war for the. I think it ended at the end of the first round or second round. But it was just a complete war back and forth. It was one of the best fights. I think it was one of the best debuts I've seen. But then again, Michael Chandler's was quite impressive as well, but it didn't last as long. It was more one-sided as opposed to back and forth. So it'd be interesting to see. I don't know, like, do the UFC fans, like from what I've seen, they do have a lot of hate from online on some things. Do they not want to see someone from an outside organization come in and win the belt? Is that what it is? Or is it something about him personally? Or I don't know. I think it's strange because he hasn't really done anything to invoke that kind of a reaction.
Okay, I mean, I've heard in some places on another podcast, but this might be a little bit biased because it comes from someone who doesn't like him. and they've had some bad blood before in the past when this other person who's now a retired mixed martial artist was fighting at Bellator. I think there was sometimes at 2017 or so, 2016, they were supposed to fight each other. Okay, do you know Josh Thompson?
Yeah, I do. I actually, now that you mention it, I would not really listen. If it was not that it's him, but if it was someone that was something was supposed to happen between them and something fell out and he doesn't like them, I really wouldn't take the opinion of someone who doesn't like someone
Yeah.
because
We always be biased, always come from a
yeah,
bad place. Yeah, yeah. So does make sense. But I mean, okay, but going by what he said another fighter, Ben Henderson, has even confirmed this as well. They more or less both said that this guy, Michael Chandler, is fake. That all of the nice guys. I mean, basically, he starts by saying that people who have the words blessed or blessed on tattooed anywhere in their body tend to come across as really fake. They're not the sort of nice in guy or gentleman sort of figure who's all about integrity and treating people well and raising people up. They're not like that at all. They said about this guy, Michael Chandler, that he's just a fake motherfucker. That once the cameras are off, once all the public audience are not there, they just flip and turn something else. It's just so arrogant and rude. But I mean, if that was the case, you would get a lot of people saying that, plenty of people saying that. It'd be very, very easy to find that information out and confirm that information to confirm whether that allegation, whether that statement is actually correct and true. You know what I mean?
yeah, I'm gonna Google it after actually because it could be true. And the reason why you might not hear it is because you might not, because like me and you said before that we probably need to watch more martial arts other than just the UFC. Like I do watch Bellator, like from time to time. The PFL has been quite good this year, but
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
the PFL has actually been really good this year, um, so it's just there's so much to watch in so little time. If I was a
No.
millionaire and didn't have a job, that'd be ideal, but that's not the case. Um, we might not be coming across, or we might not be following these fighters on Instagram. Something like these stories might have been told before, but they might not be in our line of view on social media, or whatever. So if I actually go search this, you could get down to the bottom of it. More people might have talked about it.
Mm.
It could be he could be an asshole because that's what I said with that thing with Justin Gaethje when he was on the video. You sent me the thing, the the YouTube clip. There was something there about him at one stage where I thought, geez, he's a bit of a smug prick, isn't he? So, and I just thought for a split second, I went, no, this is obviously because they're about to fight or whatever. You know, it's so you're not going to be nice to whoever. But it wasn't even trash talk or something. It was just something small, and I just thought, nah, that's a bit prickish. And then I went, ah, no, it's not like. But then I'll go look at the Josh Thompson thing, and I don't know. Sometimes Josh Thompson can be very good, and sometimes he can be very biased as well. He seems to hate the fucking UFC.
Oh yeah,
Anyway,
because yeah, no, that the reason why he doesn't like the UFC is because I think when he joined the UFC and when he joined another organization, Strike Force, and became the world champion was in 2008, and then Strike Force was bought by the UFC, so he ultimately found himself back with the UFC again. I think the UFC, they're very, Dana White is very notorious for how he pays his fighters. I think he may have some exceptions, such as Conor McGregor, but he's notorious how he pays his fighters, and the company is also known for making their fighters do things that they don't want to do, and that's probably the reason why he doesn't like them. And on top of that, the UFC seem to be uh, how do I put this? You said the PFL had a really good year. That's true. I've seen some of their fights for this year. Their main events. Some main events are crazy, but for some reason, those organizations, PFL, One Championship, Bellator, they never seem to get the sort of recognition that the UFC get. The UFC can put on a lousy card, a really, really shitty card, and people still tune in to watch that card.
Yeah, it's the name power. It's just a brand. It's just a brand. Like there's some really good fighters, there's some excellent fighters, some better champions outside the UFC. But it's just the UFC are constant, they're consistent. Their quality is usually quite high because they've over 700 people on the roster. So they can bang out these cards every week. So Bellator can't do that. PFL can't do that. The PFL finals will be coming up in, I think it's October. That'll be a good one to watch. I think like AJ McKee won recently. He bet Pitbull, who he was like a homegrown. I think he spent his whole time in Bellator. That's something Bellator needs. I think people need to more consciously, I think myself, I want to more consciously look and focus on other areas, on other promotions and not just UFC. I want to start looking at a lot here in Ireland. So some of the grassroots up and comers, I think they don't get the attention because we don't give them the attention either.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, if ESPN done, let's say, a documentary on Bellator, a documentary on UFC, right? Which one's going to get more views? UFC. So if you then had a choice, you had a time slot for that half an hour. For the next time, who are you going to put in? You're going to put in who brings in the most views, and the UFC brings in more viewers. So I think MMA fans needs to be more conscious on what they watch. But they do and they don't. I just want to be more conscious of what I watch, and I want to start especially watching Irish stuff over here, because there's a lot of good Irish fighters.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And the problem is when they're starting off, they don't get the support, they don't get the love, they don't get the exposure. So I'm going to more consciously kind of focus on that, because over here there wouldn't be as many. There's probably loads in the UK that you probably you wouldn't be able to keep up with it in the UK, but there wouldn't be as many here. So that's why I've started following the different promotions. And like there's one every couple of weeks. There's the Clan Wars, which is a Northern Irish thing. There's a couple of other things that I'm just gonna look forward to, and there's Irish fighters as well that I'm gonna follow closely, because I think they deserve the attention as well. Because we talk about the UFC not getting paid, fighters not getting paid what they're worth. So imagine what these lower levels and these Irish MMA guys are getting.
Yeah.
So there's actually a guy it's the Prospect Podcast MMA. I think he's based in Northern Ireland or Ireland. He set up today. He does interviews and stuff like that with the up and comers, the prospects, obviously. And he set up today a GoFundMe for one of the upcoming events. Because they obviously don't do the bonuses like the fight of the night, whatever. So he set up this GoFundMe. This is some guy who's done it off his own back. I set up a GoFundMe. His name's Emmanuel. I think I get the full name for you. It's the Prospect MMA podcast.
Like a black sort of logo, yeah.
He set up a GoFundMe to then, I think, the people decide who's got knockout of the night, fight of the night, and submission of the night. And what to do is whatever he has in that GoFundMe pile, they're going to divvy up between those categories. Like, so, like you're talking about, like we were talking about the UFC guys not getting paid much. And here's a guy that has a podcast over here about MMA, and like he's doing this. So like, imagine how much the Irish lads are getting paid if this is something that you have to do.
I think today we did a better job of starting the podcast earlier, didn't we?
Yeah.
Slightly early, but now I'm not sure about you, but I can see you're enjoying. Is it white wine you're drinking over there?
It is white wine, yeah.
No, that's good. It seems to be keeping me going, but I'm feeling knackered myself over here.
No hassle. It is because it is. That's what I feel like sometimes as well. Like I said, that I could be ready to go, and then within half an hour, so you're gone. So that's what before, like about 12, half 11, I said I'd have a glass of wine that'll get me going, keep me awake.
Is that what your 8th glass now, or something? Your 10th glass?
No, it's not. I only drank half the bottle.
Oh,
it's only
okay.
because it's only because there was no other alcohol in the house. I wouldn't usually drink it, man. Wine gives me a fucking. Because me, the girlfriend would have had the other half as well. She went off to bed about 12 o'clock. And then half the bottle was there. No, so I'm after drinking more. Usually I would drink maybe a vodka or a beer.
Okay.
But the white wine's gonna give me a fucking hell of a headache if I keep drinking it. So I think
Does it really give you a headache afterwards? Wow.
In the morning for my hangover, like I get a headache most times when I get a hangover, but after wine it seems to be extreme. I don't know, because wine's a weird alcohol, man. Wine's a weird one. It's the bottle goes so quickly.
If it tastes good, yeah, if you like it.
Yeah.
It's empty before you know it.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, I'll let you go then. I'm gonna send you a text on information about something. But I'll text you. I won't say here. I'll text you out.
Sure. I think a good chunk of this podcast, for a good chunk of everything, was just taken up by Woodley versus Paul. I became so obsessed over that. I mean, even the stuff you mentioned about the other fights, Chandler and Gaethje, I should have done my homework on that. And I did weeks before the fight between Paul and Woodley, but it just went out the window. I was thinking, no, Woodley's going to win this one. And I was thinking, if Woodley wins this, I'll just dedicate the whole podcast to that fight. Oh my God,
you'd be so happy.
Yes, I've been so over the moon that if he wins, if he beats Paul, then I know that it's just one step towards slowing down that hype train to a humiliating halt, and then from that's it. We won't hear about these two guys ever again. I mean, Candace Owens just the other day, she was talking about how okay, I'm kind of going to something else political now, but she was talking about how Logan Paul made last year a video about how he's a white privileged male, and just making comments surrounding the George Floyd incident and basically just Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. And I think she started when she was describing who Logan Paul was. She said, he's this YouTuber. And when I heard that for the first time on the video, I remember where I was. I just fell about. I was laughing that, and so because I'm sure he'd be like to be known as a boxer, not a YouTuber, because a title of a boxer carries more respect, not a YouTuber. So I was thinking, wow, even she's probably seen the boxing he's done, but she doesn't care about that.
No, but he's more like. But if you look at, he's more of an accomplished YouTuber than he is a boxer. He hasn't won a fight. He hasn't won a fight. Obviously the fight. So he hasn't. I don't think he's won a fight, has he? I don't think he has. But he's got over 20 million followers from YouTube. So we won't scoff at him for that. So that's what he's predominantly known as. And out of the two of them, I would go, yeah. Go ahead.
If you're gonna have so many million viewers of doing something, anything, or that much of a following, or that much support for something, call me boring or old-fashioned, but wouldn't you want it to be something respectable, something intelligent and worthwhile that you've done? You know, not something that not where you've been like a clown or something like that.
Yeah, I do get what you're saying, but if someone said, "Look, if I'd give you €1 million right now if you do this," like, hence what they want me to do.
Yeah.
But that's the way it's gone. Like you see the pranks. Some of them are over the top. Not just them. Your man Jack Jones, I think he's based in the UK. He went away for a while. Yeah. I seen he was back the other day. He posted a video again. I don't know how I seen it because I'm nearly sure I unfollowed him because he started to annoy, because the pranks are funny when they're real. But he was caught, like a lot of his stuff was set up, and it was all the same people. And then he was caught being racist in the nightclub as well. So that's kind of why I didn't like him either.
Okay.
it's not nice to be fucking racist, is it? Like,
no,
it's, you know, people have said it before, you know, people who smile in your face, but when something bad happens, that's when you see the true side of people, especially with the English footballers. If those three boys had scored, they would have been hailed as heroes by the same people. But because they missed, they were abused, their lives were threatened. And black people's lives were threatened in the UK. It's just like, I don't give a fuck what color you are. I hate everybody equally. Okay, you're all a bunch of fucking assholes. I don't know. I'm only joking. I don't hate anyone. It's just stupid. He done something stupid. I can't remember. He said something derogatory or something in a nightclub. He was caught on camera, then tried to deny it or say it was part of something else. But anyways, off track. That's the way everything's gone now. If you look at Facebook and all, there's all these different kind of pranks and all these things, and that's just a generation that there is. I don't know where you are age wise.
Me.
I'd say you're similar. You're younger than me, I'd say.
Just a few years younger than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but you would probably grow up with the same kind of things. You'd want to feel like you earned the money doing something. But that's not the way of the world now. The world is all easy, fast money. Everything's fast. The internet's fast. You're famous, then you're not. Within, like, you go viral, then you're gone. So everything's easy come, easy go nowadays. So people are going to take the money when they get a chance. And unfortunately, people do some stupid things to do it. But at the end of the day, they want to do stupid things to get money. That's their own business. I'm not paying their bills.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Can't argue with that. Anyway, I think it's like I'll give the brief outro. I think we've covered everything we can cover in this episode, isn't it? For now, some stuff like the Chandler versus Gaethje might come back to that later. Even Paul versus Woodley might come back to that as well.
Yeah. No, Paul Woodley, we forget about that's gone now. That's ruining everything else.
That's true.
That's gone now. Because this weekend, I don't know if I'll text you after and we try to set up another one for this week. You've got Till Brunson, you've got Aspinall fighting, you've got Paddy fighting, you've got Meatball McCann fighting, and you have Jack Shore fighting, all UK-based fighters this weekend. Okay. So I don't know about you, but I would like to do something on them. Especially for me, I thought you'd more so because they're all from your country.
No, of course, I'll definitely look into that again. I was completely obsessed with the Woodley Paul situation, and I have taken myself out of that now. It's not going to be talked about for a while now. So I'll start focusing on the new stuff, which is good. Which is what I have to do. Which is what I should do.
It's what you just got so obsessed with that. So look, it's done now. We can focus on the MMA. Darren Till's coming up. I love Darren Till. He's such a good character. Then you've got Paddy making his debut. You've got Meatball McCann. You've got Tom Aspinall, who for me is really up and coming in the heavyweights. Like, he's so fast. He moves like a middleweight. He doesn't move like his hands are so fast. So I'd like to do something on them because they're they're all from the four of them are from Liverpool. And then I think I hope I didn't get his name wrong. I think it's Jack Shore is Welsh. So you've got 5 people from Great Britain.
All right. I'll have to look into the cards just to well, when should we record the next episode?
I'm trying to think. I'm off tomorrow and I'm not in until 2 on Wednesday, so I could do tomorrow. Or I'd say I'm going to be doing late. So if I start on late, I actually didn't check the roster. If I start on late, I'm usually doing late all week because I can't do a late then an early because I need to have the 12 or the 11-hour rest period in between shifts. So if I start on late, I'm usually on late for the week.
Okay, so if you you know what, I can text you about this. People need to hear the podcast.
Can you cut this bit out at the end?
All right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. And yes, see you in the next one.
See you soon.